Here are the 7 guns I'm gonna be talking about in this video. Stick around if you want to see a loadout for each of these and how I rank them in my top 7 list. Probably already have a loadout for some of these, but are you sure you're running the right loadout? Having the right attachments can make a world's difference and even help you get kills that you normally would not have. This could be because of less recoil on the gun or more damage based on the attachments. Attachments have been nerfed and buffed, and it can be hard to keep track of every single thing. Don't worry though, I got you. I'm gonna give you the best loadout for these guns. And you don't have to trust me, a random guy on YouTube. By the way, I'm Mint, nice to meet you, and all these loadouts are from a website called Warzone Loadout. They have over 250 loadouts with the best build possible, taken from content creators like JGod, True Game Data, and many more. Not only that, but they also do personal testing to make sure these loadouts are the best they can be. I've also done my own testing for these loadouts, and I'm gonna give you guys the honest opinion as I show you the loadout for these guns. Not only that, but I'm also gonna give you guys a recoil test and rate it out of 1 out of 5 on how easy it is to control. Let me know if you agree with the list in the comments below, and if not, let me know how you would change it. Now let's get into number 7 on the list. So number 7 on the list, we have the FARA 83. If you're like me, you get this confused with the FFAR. Not because they feel like the same gun, but because I'm dyslexic, so I confuse the words together. Now before I go on, let me tell you one thing about all these loadouts in this video, especially the long range options. They have recoil. I know, shocking. But if you've been using the Brand and the STG and all these other Vanguard guns, the first time you use these Cold War guns, you will definitely feel the recoil. But fear not, it's very easy to control and all you have to do is pull down. But yeah boys, here's the loadout for the FARA 83, and enjoy clapping some cheeks with this at range in Caldera. Here's the recoil test for the FARA 83 as well, and for the ease of recoil control, I would probably rate it a 3 out of 5. But once you get the hang of it, it'll be fine. Now let's move on to number 6 on the list. We have the Craig 6. This is probably the easiest recoil to control on the list, I would say. Although all of them are pretty easy to control for me at least. And if I had to compare the Craig to another gun, I would probably say the M13. It feels like a laser beam, but I just wish it would do a little more damage at range. The movement speed is decent on this rifle as well, and overall a solid build for Caldera. Here's the recoil test, and when I use this, I just hold my mouse in place and it does not go anywhere. If I had to rate this, I would probably rate it 4 out of 5 for recoil control. I know 80 FOV consoles can be a different story, so no promises how all these recoils feel on console because I'm only playing on PC, so I can't speak to how it feels on console. Anyways man, let's move on to number 5 on the list. We have the Mac 10. Oh, how I missed the meta Mac 10 that would melt kids in Verdansk. But hey, we can't go back to the old times, but you can still use the Mac 10 in Caldera. It might not be worthy of being the meta in Caldera because of the damage, but boy is it fun to use. If you want to move like an absolute sweat and the movement king himself, Joe Woe, you have to use the Mac 10. With that radar stock equipped, it feels like you're gliding on the map. Here's the recoil test, and I would probably rate this a 3 out of 5. It's not very hard to control, especially for these SMGs that are very close range. And if you try out the Mac 10, I promise you'll be putting on some moves on these kids, especially in Rebirth Island if you play that. A smaller map means you have to use your movement a lot to get kills, so the Mac 10 I feel like is a perfect gun for Rebirth Island. Now let's move on to number 4 on the list. We have the XM4. Now this gun can be used in many different situations. You can use it like an SMG, sniper support, or for range. It's literally like the M4A1 from MW, and if you enjoyed that gun, you're definitely gonna love this one as well. I would say this has the second easiest recoil to control out of these guns, and as you can see, it's pretty simple. You just have to pull down. I would rate this a 3.5 out of 5 for recoil control. And here is the loadout for range, and let me know in the comments, which one do you like better, the XM4 or the M4A1 from MW? Now let's move on to number 3 on the list. We have the AK-47. This is probably the hardest hitting gun on the list, and with that it also comes with more recoil. If you use this for range, just know it's a little jumpy, but if you can manage to control this and master the recoil, it does some heavy damage at range. Here's the recoil test, and in my opinion, it's not the worst, but it's definitely not the best recoil of all time. I would give this a 2.5 out of 5 for recoil control, only because I feel like it'll be a little harder for a lot of people to control the recoil for the AK-47. But if you have no problem controlling recoil for guns, this is a solid choice in Caldera. The Spetsnaz grip really does help with the horizontal and vertical recoil, so you definitely want to have that equipped. But anyways man, the AK and the XM4 are very close in terms of being the best AR from Cold War in my opinion. Now moving on to number 2 on the list, we have the OTS. I feel like people just forget old guns when a new game comes out, or they think that new guns are just better, but the OTS is still one of the best SMGs in Warzone. I see people running around with the MP40 a lot, but if you don't have Vanguard or you just want to try something else, the OTS is still a monster. And you don't have to worry about the recoil for SMGs that much because of the close range fights and how fast you kill players in this game. For the recoil control, I would probably give this one a 4 out of 5. Now moving on to the top spot on this list, we have the Swiss sniper at number 1. So the reason I have the Swiss at number 1 is because of how bad the Vanguard snipers are, and because the Swiss is the best sniper from Cold War. If you're gonna use Cold War guns, I feel like most people would be using the Swiss because there aren't many other options for snipers. Even with all the 3 games combined, you don't have that many options for snipers. You have the Kar 98K from MW, but that's the only other option, honestly. But yeah, the Swiss feels great in Caldera. This loadout is also one of the fastest ADS builds, and you can change the fast mag to a grip or more ammo depending on the type of player you are. Overall, I do like the Swiss better than the MW car, but at times it can feel like I should have killed that guy instead of just breaking armor. Anyways, those are the top 7 guns from Cold War that are still very competitive in Caldera, and some of them are even part of the meta. If you liked the video, make sure you guys leave a like and hit that sub button so you don't miss out on future videos like these. Now you can have the best attachments and the best setup but still be a bot. So if you want to know how to increase your KD in Warzone, make sure you guys check out this video on the screen. I give you a step-by-step plan on how you can increase your KD in Warzone and get better as a player. Make sure you check it out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.